The views and opinions expressed by this program's hosts, guests, listeners, and viewers are solely the views and opinions of the original source who expresses them. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of TV5 Network Incorporated, its subsidiaries and affiliates, and their respective stockholders, directors, officers, and employees.
Sounding off from Los Angeles, the undisputed king of podcasting, who's all about the good times, Mo Twister. Representing New York City, a social media monster and co-creator of the Not Bill Walton Twitter feed, Chris Savage. All the way from Sydney, Australia, a basketball media veteran and unapologetic cultural critic, Bradford Graham. Holding it down from Manila, a seasoned sportscaster with the studio skills to pay the bills, Gino Rufino. This is Full Court Report.
All right, welcome to the Full Court Report. It is a Monday night in the U.S. It is a Tuesday morning over there in Australia and Asia, and that's what we're about, man. 4 guys in 4 different cities. My name is Mo. I'm in Los Angeles. That's Chris over there in New York. We have Bradford Graham in Sydney, Australia, and Gino Rufino in Studio Metro Manila. This is the Full Court Report, and we break down our show in 4 separate quarters, 12 minutes each. And this first quarter is going to go to New York City, and we're going to talk to Chris Savage over there in the NYC. Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, Mo. Thank you. I want to talk today first about home court advantage in the playoffs. Sure. Is it more important than it has been in the past few years? And I say it is. So what we've seen this year is absolutely utter dominance at home from the Spurs and the Warriors. The Spurs are 24-0 at home. Warriors 19-0. I wanted to throw the Cavs in there, especially with Kyrie, but they really disappointed tonight. So we'll kind of leave them out of the conversation a little bit. But it's not just those two teams' dominance. It's also how tight the East is, and that little edge might make the difference in the 2 through 8 kind of. I think we all can assume that the Cavs would be number 1 despite their disappointment tonight. So 2 through 8 might make a big difference from a home court advantage perspective. We've seen the Warriors drop off a little bit. They've had their injuries or at least some issues with Draymond Green, so they're going to hit some road bumps no matter how good they are. They had 2 road losses recently, but at home they're still holding fort, and so are the Spurs. So before I pose it to you guys of what you think about how important a home court advantage is this year compared to other years, let me throw out some stats over the past couple of years. The last 2 years, if you take out the 1 and 8 seed games and the 2 and 7 seed games, home teams throughout the playoffs are only 13 and 9 in the series. Last 5 years in the conference finals, 5 and 5. Last 5 years in the NBA finals, 3 and 2, and only 6 times in the last 5 years have a 1 and a 2 played each other in the conference finals. So I'll put it out to you guys: is this year more than any year home court advantage a big factor?
I guess you're sorry, tickle in the throat. You might want to edit that part out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, to answer, to respond to your statement, I guess, I definitely think that their coaches and obviously, the players are always gunning for that. I mean, it helps to play at home. You hear stories about how guys prefer to sleep in their own beds, how much easier it is to sort of take care of business when you've got that, crowd behind you, especially if it's an intelligent crowd like they have in Golden State and San Antonio, given that those are the best examples with the win-loss records. Crowds, maybe in basketball more than some of the other sports, can actually sway and affect performance. I mean, you think about a guy at the free throw line, obviously, that glass backboard doesn't actually hide anything. A guy, like DeAndre Jordan, who might not be the best performer when it comes to shooting clutch free throws, he's going to get razzled by the opposing crowd, doing all sorts of chants or all sorts of, they don't allow signs like they do in college, but, there's definitely ways to sort of get him, out of his groove more so. So I definitely think teams want it. Everybody wants to know that in a 7-game series, 4 of those games are in your court. And if you've only got to protect home to advance, then it's definitely something that you want to have in your back pocket when you face what might be a more talented roster.
Yeah, I know that teams want it. They all say that, and they all want it pretty much. But aren't we seeing it more lined up this year than in past years? Not just the stats that I spit it out, but just teams, the way that the disparity between the home and the road, that isn't that much different this year, that it's so much important. Because I think it is. Isn't it? Isn't it lined up that way this year, guys?
I mean, possibly. I don't know if it's lined up in, say, this year more than years in past. I think as the crowd gets a little bit more creative, as we see more unity with the crowd, they give out T-shirts. Everybody's wearing the same color. It looks like a college game out there. I mean, everything. We talk about competitive edge. Every little thing helps, man. Whether it is the crowd, whether it's the cologne the guy's wearing at the time, any little thing you can do to help, it's going to help. Say football, and I know this is not a football podcast, but obviously we see the home field advantage there playing a bigger role. But I think basketball, to a certain extent, is maybe not right there, but just a tad under in terms of having an advantage for a team.
Let's not forget that just, only a couple of years ago, remember, Greg Popovich snuck in at midnight and turned off the air conditioning in the San Antonio arena, and then cooked the heat so that LeBron got cramps and they couldn't.
That's right.
Game.
That's right.
Allegedly.
But yeah, so everything from visitor locker room to just, I mean, competitive edge, bits and pieces, it all equates to something.
Jumbotron matters. I mean, you forget that these guys stop and watch the Jumbotron during timeouts. They get distracted by the cheerleaders and how attractive they are. Like, these guys are still human at the end of the day. If somebody yells something at them, it registers.
Yeah,
and it's one of these things that they've all got favorite spots on the floor, and they've all got favorite arenas that they, these guys are superstitious. They all prefer certain places.
And when it comes to yelling out, this sport, more than say football or your baseball or any kind of major sport in the U.S., you can hear it because it's a closed environment, and the seats are right there on the court. So absolutely,
and we've seen the fans get into it already with the players, and so and it's interesting because in a few episodes ago in this podcast, we said that there are more than any other year. There's fans for a specific team, not in that specific city, like fans like Celtics fans in Chicago or in New York or stuff like that. And it's interesting because I think that's true, but I also think that the home court advantage. I think more so now, like Chris is right, more so now it is an advantage more, especially come the postseason.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, of course, the T-shirts and the nudie pictures when someone's putting up free throws. I mean, that's some little stuff. We're talking about two teams, though, in the Warriors and Spurs, that are utterly dominant at home. So I'll ask you this. We spoke about Popovich a couple episodes ago, maybe last episode. He's a type that may not care. He may not care about home field. Is it that important? Is he going to go for it? So towards the end of the season, if it's jockeying for position between him and the Warriors, and he has to rest some of his guys, will he go for it, in your opinion, for the home court, or does he feel more comfortable resting his guys for maybe being a tiny bit fresher in the playoffs? What do you guys think about that?
I think Brad said it earlier. Said, hey, in the end, they're still human. I think I think Pop will go for it in terms of getting the home court advantage because every little thing helps. I mean, they look unstoppable right now, but no one's unstoppable. I say it every single time. You never know, an injury here or a struggle, or what if somebody gets what Danny Green has right now, which is suckitis. I mean, you need every little thing to be on your side. That could be your own bed, or it could be whatever.
Right. And I would just add that I think the underlying factor here is that you really want to be able to intimidate your opponent. And if having a fortress in your backyard being, a 39-2 home record over the course of the regular season, Pop being the example here, is one guy that wants to win every psychological war that he's in.
Sure.
Therefore, I think Pop not only will gun for home, but he wants his opponent to fear coming to the Alamo, knowing that they've got to at least take 2 out of those 4 home games to win the series. And so I think that when it sort of boils down to, these coaches are always trying to protect home, and then anything you get on the road is gravy. And I think that's the way basketball has been treated for the longest time, maybe more so because there's some sort of unity come the playoffs with the color coding, with the fact that owners sort of splash out a little more and do a little bit, to prevent other fans from getting tickets in prime locations, et cetera. But this year, I think that you might be seeing a 2-horse race between the home court advantage being sort of optimized, but whether it's more important now versus previous years, I guess we'll have to wait and see in the 2016 playoffs if one team can swing a series one way or the other because of the fact that they're going to play more games at home.
But I think for Pop, though, what's more important for Pop, more than the home court advantage, is the health of the players. I mean, if Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan need to rest in the end of the season, maybe 1 or 2 games before the end of the regular season, I think he'll do it. And then I think if that means they're going to give up the 1 seed to the Dubs, maybe, just maybe, I could see Pop pulling that card out.
And it could come back to bite them. And as I said earlier too, it is also the East. Anytime you could be a 2 seed 1 week and a 7 seed the next week. Right. So I think it's more accented there too. But I want to shift gears, guys, and go to another topic. I want to talk about the big dummy Matt Barnes. He got fined, and of all days too, and I'll get into that. He got fined $35,000 because he just by posting information on his Instagram. He just can't leave well enough alone when it comes to Derek Fisher and the whole situation. So, he's still being stubborn about this. He said, a man who stood up for what he believed in, a man who spoke the truth and always spoke from the heart in life, saying true to yourself, comes with hardships and consequences. You have to be willing to accept whatever comes with it. Sometimes standing alone isn't the popular choice, but it's the right choice. Also, with that message, he posts a picture of Martin Luther King on Martin Luther King Day, and he puts a quote of Martin Luther King to tie it into him standing what he believes in to fight Derek Fisher, and who cares if he's getting fined for it because he really believed in it. He says our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. He compares it to one of the most Martin Luther King. Matt Barnes, shut the up, man. I'm still not going to drop the F bomb. No, you know what I am. Shut the fuck up, Matt Barnes. I can't deal with it. I can't believe that shit.
So Chris, are you upset with the fact that he's saying that not beating Derek Fisher in some sort of marital war is him equaling the oppression of an entire sort of culture and race? Is the problem that there's a comparison to Luther King and all that he stood for, or is the problem with that Barnes just won't go away?
Standalone, I would think is somewhat comical. I'd feel bad for the guy too, and I just shake my head. But right. On all days and using quote and putting a picture of Martin Luther King, I just thought was ridiculous. So the NBA fined this guy $35,000 because he can't shut the hell up. Guys, do you think, especially he's a repeat offender, $35K is enough?
I think it is because he also lost about $64,000 with the games that he was suspended. So that's $100,000. What
happened to freedom of speech?
But there's
it's freedom of speech works. He wasn't put in jail, so freedom of speech works. That's all freedom of speech does for you. You don't get put in jail for dumbass comments.
Yeah.
But this, you can get fired from your employer. You can fucking lose money. So $100,000. Maybe I don't know if it's enough. You guys think that's enough? Because I think just be suspended even more games.
No, I think it's fine. I think Brad, to a certain extent, it's right. It's freedom of speech, but he is still representing the NBA and the Memphis Grizzlies. So whatever he does, whether it's on a social media account or whether he says to the press, it still reflects on them to some degree. And I think a 2-game suspension, $100,000 total with the games and the fine from the NBA. I think it's fine, but will I think he'll shut up? No, I don't think so. I think he'll just keep on going. I think it's.
Well, I'm glad we're talking about freedom of speech. Do you think the NBA is regulating these types of Instagram posts too much? Maybe do they have too much oversight? Do you think this type of thing is excessive?
No, they're picking and choosing what they police here. If they were to actually have an entire department that tracked every NBA player's online personality, you would be seeing fines handed out every third day, and these would just escalate, and guys would be going broke. No, Matt Barnes is just an easy target. They're using him as an example.
So is this the Rasheed Wallace syndrome? So, Brad, are you saying this is the Rasheed Wallace syndrome?
A little. I think that Matt Barnes draws the wrong kind of attention to himself, and as a result, the NBA says, well, you keep stepping out of line, we're going to keep firing you. But, at the end of the day, I don't think the NBA should even intervene here. Let him use his social media for whatever he wants. Why is an employer allowed to fine somebody for thoughts that they have? I think that's a little ill.
Well, the problem with this, and we got to go because quarter's over, it's the violence part, man. All the other stuff, all the other drama that Matt Barnes wants to go ahead and put in, then I understand that. If he wants to go and say, hey, even the Knicks players are on my side, I think it's comical. I think it's really funny. He crosses the line, though, when he says violence is the answer sometimes, because then, of course, you're taking a role model and you're in a sense, a little bit of a role model and telling them that, crime and violence is the answer. We got to get out of here.
Kids are impressionable. Kids hear that you can hit somebody and that's okay, and then that's what they go do, which is what you don't want to teach.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
Quick time out. Quick time out.
Time out. Go do it. You got a minute. What do you got?
Matt Barnes, shut the fuck up. All right, I'm done.
That's right. 20-second timeout. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, more of the Full Court Report. We started off strong. We're going to continue to do so with the second quarter. Back after this.
He has made viewers laugh with his funny antics and awesome style in comedy. He has also been in quite a few headlines himself. Well, funny man Arnel Ignacio loves good times too. Curious if he has funny secrets he'd like to spill? Then head on to www.tv5.com.ph/originals and watch Good Times with Mo. Thursday, 9 p.m. on Digital 5. Call us on our hotline, also on Viber and Skype.
Welcome back to the Full Court Report. We are at quarter number 2, and we're going to Sydney, Australia, to Bradford Graham, who's got 12 minutes. Brad, the clock is yours, and it starts now. What do you got for us?
Thanks, Mo. I was watching Pardon the Interruption the other day. It's a personal favorite of mine. I really like Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon, just discussing the day's sport topics. One of the few times I actually sit down to consume a little ESPN. I'm not a huge fan of the network overall, but that's a whole other story. So Wilbon recently said that there's only 3 teams in the NBA right now from where we sit who can win the championship or could even play for the championship, to use his quote in full. And Wilbon went on to say that that's the entire list. It consists of the Golden State Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Therefore, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I personally and many others out there also feel is in that conversation, Wilbon has just completely dismissed. Now, this caused quite a reaction out of Kevin Durant, but we'll get into more of Durant's comments in just a minute. What I really wanted to sort of get to the bottom of first here is halfway through this year, Durant's bounced back from the foot injury. Westbrook's firing on all cylinders. They're starting to work the bench in. They're getting production out of Cameron Payne. You're seeing, Enes Kanter coming in off the bench and providing offense. Morrow's shots dropping more than it's not. And Steven Adams and the rest of the supporting cast seems to be fulfilling their duties. Do we buy the Thunder as a legit contender? Is Wilbon wrong, or are you also going to exclude them?
Any team that has those 2 superstars has a chance. One thing I don't like about Oklahoma City Thunder is their strength of schedule is one of the worst in the league, or has been one of the worst in the league, and they've dropped some home games that they shouldn't have. They've lost 12 games already. Some of them were very tough games, but overall their schedule hasn't been so great. And they've lost some of those games as well. I think also there's been some growing pains with Billy Donovan. One thing I don't like is his handling of Kanter and Adams, and I think that's going to be possibly an issue down the road. So I do like them to be a top team, but right now I kind of agree with Wilbon to a degree. I don't think they can beat one of those top 3 teams in a tough playoff series.
I agree with you. I agree with the statement that they're not upper echelon. I mean, they're right there at second tier. They lead the second tier, but they're not number 1. It is the top 3 teams: the Warriors, Spurs, and Cleveland, in that order right now. And I don't know.
Is this a conference thing, though? Are you saying this, Mo, because they're in the West and therefore they've got the harder path, or are you saying this because you legitimately don't think that in a 7-game series the 2 superstars can take down one of the 2,
I don't think they're deep. I don't think they're deep enough. And
Okay.
I don't know if the record plays any conference kind of bearing. I mean, they're closer in record. Just the other day, they were closer in record to the Orlando Magic than they were to the San Antonio Spurs or the San Antonio Spurs or the Golden State Warriors. So, again, I don't know if that's a conference thing. They are doing well now, 4 in a row, 8-2 in the last 10, but still not enough to put them first tier. But they're right there leading that second group.
Why do you need a caveat, Brad, to say, well, is it a conference thing? Who cares if it's a conference
insecurity.
thing?
Insecurity.
That's the reason why they can't do it, possibly.
Well, but if they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be in the top 4 for sure. I mean, I think they're better. They're better than the Raptors. They're better than the Bulls. They're better.
Oh,
of
course. Well, they're top 3 in the West. So yeah, absolutely.
So they would be the number 2 team in the
Queen of
East.
England had balls. She'd be the king. I mean, what are we talking about here? It is what it is, and that's maybe one of the factors Wilbon took in consideration when he said it. It's one of the factors I took in consideration when I said it too.
Now, do we take into the consideration that in the past few years they've lost some, obviously, key guys, superstar guys to injuries, that maybe we need to see them go through the entire season and postseason healthy before next year we can kind of jump on this Thunder bandwagon and say, all right, so even if they get eliminated, but just as long as we see them healthy for an entire year, front to end, then we can feel better about the Thunder come next season?
The last time we saw the Thunder completely healthy in one season, when they made it to the NBA Finals. So I know it's been a while, but I mean, if they're healthy, I really do think that once Billy Donovan has a little bit more experience in the NBA, I'm not just talking about one season. Maybe he needs just half a season. Once he gets enough experience, I think they'll be fine. I mean, right now, the growing pains is because of the coaching and because of the new pieces in the team, and even you can consider Kevin Durant a new piece in the team because they're working him in.
We're not talking about fine though. We're talking about elite. So what fine means? Western Conference Finals?
Okay.
Is that fine? Or NBA
No,
title?
I meant they will be considered among the elite because you look at on paper, in my opinion, I think the bench is not that deep, but it's deep enough, I think they'll be right there with the Spurs and the Dubs.
Right, deep enough to be the fourth best team in the NBA. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a chance to win the title, and a chance to win the title means you have to get to the
they have
finals.
two of the top 5 best players in the league, so that should more than make up enough for a maybe a 7-man deep team as opposed to an 8 or a 9.
And we have said if you want to get to the NBA Finals, you better have one of the top players in the league. They've got two, as you said, 2 of the 5. So they're set their superstar level, and a 71% winning percentage, which they have this year, is usually good enough in most years. It's just the Warriors and Spurs are playing out of their minds.
Yeah. Well, so do we like the way Durant and Westbrook are playing together? Do you guys have any objection with that? They're 2 of the top 5 in the league, but what about their game together meshing? Because I don't think it's as great as it can be.
Sure. Like maybe there's not a perfect blend here, but maybe there never will be. Maybe you've got just 2, such dynamo players that they're never going to sort of fit perfectly together. And I think that's fine. I think the fact that they just provide so much unpredictability that it keeps the defense on their toes. People have talked about the fact that, they're deferring to one another, or sometimes they don't take over, or they take over too much, whatever the case may be. I just think as long as those 2 guys are healthy, I think they have the ability to shoot down any team in the NBA in any series. And I just don't think that my point more than anything is I think Wilborn's a little early to be calling them non-contenders. I think that 41 games into the year, next to the Warriors and the Spurs, nobody looks like contenders. It's almost like you've got those 2 horses leading the race, and then, there's nothing else. I don't even think the Cavs are in that same category. So for him to put the Cavs there, it seems to me like he's only saying that because they have the easy road to the finals versus their talent.
That's part of it. And all the Cavs have to do is get to the finals, and then the big 3, they could upset any team. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. My point is this. I think that there are 4 teams that are contenders. 3 of them happen to be from the West. I think that's fine. I think that's what's going to make the Western Conference Finals so exciting because there's 2 spots, 3 teams, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I don't think that the Thunder are that far behind those 3 teams, and I guess that's where we disagree. There's another person who disagrees, funnily enough, and that person who disagrees is Kevin Durant, who said that the media and the experts are continuing to nitpick the Thunder. And he'd come out and said that obviously he feels that the media doesn't like them. They don't like how Westbrook talks to the media. Durant went on to say that, he says that because they've been together for so long that they're not getting the benefit of the doubt, that it's one of those situations where there's sort of now an expectation that they're always just going to be really good. But, he thinks that he feels like the Thunder can compete with anybody. And then he turned around and whatever statements he said, basically blaming the media for sort of being out of place, he recanted and then said that he loves them and that, he respects the media and basically that if he didn't like the media, he wouldn't talk to them, he wouldn't interact with them, he wouldn't laugh and joke with them, and that he wouldn't basically, provide them with any sort of sound bites whatsoever. So are we buying what Kevin Durant is saying here? That first of all, he's angry with the media, but then he loves the media. Is there something to this? Is this just hollow sentiments to keep everyone on side from a PR standpoint? Chris, man,
when's the last time we saw Kevin Durant laugh with the media, by the way? I mean, man, he certainly earned it, I think, in terms of the impression that he dislikes the media. He does speak his mind, and it's a lot of negative talk when it comes to the media. But this is what he said he wanted. He said the media wants a guy who's honest, who speaks his mind. That's who I am, right? But the problem is, it seems like predominantly the moment he mentions the media, he's got pout on his face, he's got stink eye, he's got all these nasty words to say, and it's a group of people that are vengeful, man. The media people, they're not great people either. And if you piss them off enough, they're going to make you wear it. And I think maybe Durant is kind of sick and tired of wearing it a little bit, and he's going to go out and say a statement like this: "Oh, I really love you guys."
Right. He seems like a high school kid who has up and down with like his little crush that he can't make up his mind, and he's just his hormones are going up and down over it. To be honest with you, like he doesn't have. We talked about this before. He doesn't have a big media market, and any scrutiny. Go live in LeBron James' shoes for the last 15, 20 years. You want to talk about scrutiny, and Kevin Durant is complaining about it. It's just I've said it before. This whole act with this guy is tiring. Even when he's saying good things about the media, is tiring, and I don't want to hear any more from him unless he's talking about the game, which we said otherwise before. Now I just want to hear about game stuff.
Brad, I have to ask you this though. I mean,
Sure.
you've covered KD a lot through the years, and at what point? Because during the earlier part of his career, he was a gentleman. He was the perfectly. He said the right things. He said it was almost like it was too good to the media and to the press and to the public. Was that all just an act, or is this what we're seeing now recently just the act, and he's really still a nice guy, but he just wants some edge?
No, I think part of it is that his personality is just going to change given the environment that he's forced to live in. He wasn't as popular back then as Gino, as what he is now. And I think some of it is with enhanced popularity comes enhanced criticism, and he hasn't necessarily taken, all of that in stride. Some of that has been sort of taken to heart, and he does sort of read this stuff and does deflect maybe more than he needs to, and isn't necessarily happy. I mean, he's unhappy with the fact that he felt that he didn't speak up early on, and people were, creating the narrative of his career for him, and he didn't necessarily like that. And now he's trying to have more control over what it is that, how people perceive him. And, Royce Young and many others have written about this, that, Durant has morphed from, this like Boy Scout essentially in the early days to more of this sort of hardened, take no prisoners superstar. And what's interesting is that I think it just makes him more fascinating as a character, and it makes him better for the NBA universe. I don't want to see him, basically just say the politically correct things so that he can sell an extra pair of underwear or shoes or whatever the case may be. I'm glad that he's, stepping up and doing what many players probably want to do but don't feel they can. I mean, he seems like he's.
But doesn't it hurt his brand though, Brad? I mean, you see, let's look at the superstars. Let's look at the superstars. Let's look at the superstars who say the right thing and do the right thing. LeBron James, Steph Curry, these guys, man, it translates to not just sales of underwear and socks and shoes, but just an all-around kind of love, an international love. Now, KD, the reason why people like him is because he's really great at basketball. But you put in that personality as well, now you're hurting the brand.
So would you say that KD's trying to be what Charles Barkley was back in the 80s?
No, this is my point, Gino. Like this is the exact point that Kevin Durant keeps reiterating. It's that stop trying to make him into something he's not. Just let him be Kevin Durant in whatever form that takes. We should just let him grow and find his place in this world, and not compare him to Jordan, LeBron, Charles Barkley, or someone else. Like that's the thing that gets under his skin the most, is that when people try to make him into something that he feels that he isn't. He's not Charles Barkley. He's Kevin Durant. Now, right now, Kevin Durant is someone who loves, hates, is bipolar, is fraudulent, is all these things.
He doesn't know what he is.
Can we just say maybe he got a big head? Maybe he got big-headed. Maybe after the MVP season when we saw all of these things, he got big.
Think about it. This guy is supremely confident in his ability. And just to finish off the quarter, I will say this. He knows that Steph Curry has stolen, some of the limelight. He knows that LeBron has been talked about from legacy. He knows that he went from the most beloved, most popular figure to somebody who's now in that second tier. He's not happy about it. He's putting in the work.
What has changed?
To make sure that changed.
What has changed, though? His skill set is the same. He's still elite, a basketball player, 2 out of the top 5. What has changed is he's become a dick, and that's why Curry and LeBron has taken off with that branding. He's become a dick. Listen, I interviewed Kevin. I didn't interview Kevin. I'm sorry. I saw Kevin at the USA team. Sorry, we're calling a timeout here. The USA team get together in Las Vegas. That's right, in Vegas. I go to, he's taking questions. I ask, hey, Kevin, I got a question. He's already mad. I haven't even asked the question yet. And I know that's just my experience, but I don't remember him being that way. I've interviewed him way back when he was in his first All-Star weekend when he was a rookie.
How much more interesting is he as a result?
Oh, man, he's a dick.
Oh, bro,
I'm sorry.
It's not fair. Bro, it's not fair. You have one of those faces that people get mad at instantly.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. All right, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. Sorry, Gene. I'm sorry, but we gotta take a break. When we come back, we have a halftime show. Don't go away. It's the Full Court Report.
a Sports5.ph original web show.
My name is Dominic Uy, and this is my buddy Kevin Limhoco.
We are going to be testing products to their nth degree, to their limits.
Cars.
How many car makers are not equipped with power steering?
Gadgets.
You feel the value of that watch.
And everything in between.
I don't like to pamper myself except in a restaurant.
This is the web show for the modern man.
Oh, let's go!
Nth Degree. Catch it exclusively on Sports5.ph.
It's halftime on the Full Court Report, and this is our opportunity to move away from hardcore basketball talk. And today's topic is the hottest athlete's wife or girlfriend. So who's the hottest to you out of all the athletes out there? Any sport, whether it's basketball, whether it's cricket, whether it's, kick the can.
Wait, was that a dig at me in some sort of undisguised way?
Cricket, man. I love cricket. Whether it's curling, whether it's kick the can, hottest athlete's wife. So
Nick
Mo Twister seems like you got one right off the top of your head, and you've known this
and
you know
what I like about my answer is that not only is she crazy hot, it's that he's not even that great of an athlete, which makes it even better. Like, I understand, like, you're Tom Brady, you get your Giselle, fine, sure, I get it.
Sure,
Derek Jeter, you get your Minka Kelly, whatever, fine.
Of course.
But Marco Yarick,
hang on. If you're Derek Jeter, if you're Derek Jeter, you got to turn with everybody.
oh yeah, A-Rod, all those guys. But Marco Yarick is married to Adriana Lima.
How
man.
is that possible?
Unbelievable! I can't it blows my mind. The moment I heard that they were dating, I was like, "What? Marco Yarick? I know who he is, but does she know who he is? Maybe it has to be about his personality because as a baller, he's so-so, not even so-so, less than so-so, but he's dating Adriana Lima.
You know what's interesting about that
blows
guy,
my
though,
mind.
Mo, is physically, like in person, like he's 6'5", 6'6", whatever. He's super cut. Like he's a really attractive European model.
He is a
looking
good-looking
dude.
dude. Sure.
He's one of those guys that physically he looks like he'd be the best baller on the court, but then you see him play and you're like, he just can't produce. But I know this isn't basketball talk. I will say this. I had a chance to meet Adriana Lima at a Nets game one time when Yarick was sitting on the bench and she was sitting courtside, and I had press passes, whatever. And man, when she got up to get a drink, everybody stopped and followed her every move. Like there was no Nets game for about 30 seconds while she made the parade. It was like a catwalk, man. And
I've never seen her. Is she that hot in person?
Yeah.
Is she
in person? She's like 6'2". She's not human. She's some sort of alien goddess thing. Like I've never seen anything like it before in my life. She basically has, again, to use the phrase, she has the sun shining out of her ass. Like, I swear to God, she's so radiant.
Did she have better seats at that game than Marco Yarick? Because I have a feeling that would be true.
He was at the end of the bench behind the backboard. He didn't have a great view of his own team. She was sitting almost at
Where is Marco Yarick now? What's he doing? Is he still in the NBA?
Probably been Serbia
I think
or something
he's on
like
a
that.
mountaintop somewhere with a battle axe trying to call on the guards to try to defend his woman.
He's one of those guys that retires from the game so he can just police his girlfriend or wife in this case. But anyway, let's keep it going. Yeah, what do you guys got?
Going. So Brad, you got a lot to chime in. What do you got?
Yeah, man. I guess I've talked about this and brought it up, I guess, on more than one occasion, on air and off. But Al Horford's wife, is it Miss Venezuela or Miss?
Oh man, good choice.
Look, I don't know. She's a Miss Regional, the set of islands. I've never been to that part of the world, but I just hear nothing but good things.
Sure.
And look, man, when the photos of them two first showed up, and Horford seems like such a good dude, man. I wish him all the best. Good for him. He every little boy grows up dreaming that he's going to win a Miss Universe girlfriend. That's the ultimate trophy wife, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, you're right. Amelia Vega, she's super top heavy, man. Love her.
Yeah.
Love her. Yeah, nicely done.
What about you, Gino? Gino, what do you got, man?
Some of the surprises for me were, Sasha Vujacic and Maria Sharapova. I couldn't understand that. But the one that I like the most is the non-basketball players is Lewis Hamilton. Although I don't know if they're still together. Lewis Hamilton and Nicole Scherzinger of
she's
the
not bad at all. So she's not bad at all.
Every time you'd watch an F1 race on TV, you see her there with a headset, chiming in and seeing what's happening, and it's nice. I mean, that's a good looking couple with those two. I don't know if they're still together. Hopefully they are for Lewis's sake. All right.
Well, for me, I'll go with a raunchy one first. That I know they're not together anymore, and this is the quick raunchy one. Tito Ortiz, the UFC fighter, was once married to Jenna Jameson, and I'll tell you, as a teenager, Wink, wink. I love Jenna Jameson. Wink, wink. So I'll move to today. I have a couple still together, and it's the pitcher Justin Verlander is a girlfriend with Kate Upton, and Kate Upton. I mean, she has a lot. I mean, her assets are great. Very good looking girl, if you will. So you know that's the one
Midwestern
today that
all-American blonde, right?
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, Verlander's got that one.
Yeah, I don't really notice the hair color though with her for good reasons, you know.
Sure,
but
sure. What was she, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model? Is that where she got her claim to fame?
Yes.
Was that?
Well, yeah. And then her next claim to fame was a YouTube video where some guy had her jump up and down, and
that's right.
Terry Richardson had her doing the cat daddy dance, and that kind of
yes, a little dance, a little cat dance. So you know, great picks, guys. Great topic too. So that will conclude our halftime.
That's right. We're going to do this topic again next episode, by the way.
Yeah. It just pays to play sports, right? If you play sports and you're a famous athlete, you can pull any chick you want.
You got that right.
Or you can be
Marco Yarick. Marco Yarick, that's right.
Or you can be Marco Yarick. There you go.
That's right. There you Let's take a break. When we come back, we have our second half done. Go. It's the Full Court Report.
He has made viewers laugh with his funny antics and awesome style in comedy. He has also been in quite a few headlines himself. Well, funny man Arnel Ignacio loves good times too. Curious if he has funny secrets he'd like to spill? Then head on to www.tv5.com.ph/originals and watch Good Times with Mo. Thursday, 9 p.m. on Digital 5. Call us on our hotline, also on Viber and Skype.
Welcome back to the Full Court Report. It is our second half now, and we are going to go to studio right there, Metro Manila, Philippines, and talk to Gino Rufino. Gino, we're giving you 12 minutes as we usually do, and you're on the clock. What do you have in store for us and the listeners?
Thanks, Mo. And I recently caught this article, this list that from Bleacher Report, and they took a poll on some players and NBA coaches think are the dirtiest players in the NBA today. And guess who number one was? Some guy who played today. And before we started recording the show, Mo said they better pull Curry out because Delhi might do something.
That's right.
And
Warriors by 30. Remove Curry because Delhi's in.
Warriors up by 30. So I mean, okay. So I'll be honest with you. Before the playoffs started, I never really thought about Delhi at all. And then when the playoffs started and the injuries, and then I saw some of the injuries that when the Cavs would play against these other teams like Al Horford, of course, Kyle Korver, some of these other guys that got injured during the playoffs. Some say because of Delhi, some would say it was just a freak accident. But here's the list. Number one was Dellavedova. Number two was Steven Adams of OKC. Number three is Andrew Bogut. Number 4 is Matt Barnes.
There's a little theme going. Yeah. A little theme going on there for top three.
With the Aussies. I mean, Brad, what's going on here? Number 4 is Matt Barnes, and number 5 is Serge Ibaka. Now, one Western Conference coach said that Dellavedova is as dirty as they come. When you're hurting people, that is not okay. An assistant from the East, who was described as old school, disagreed and said Delhi is just a scrapper. So, gentlemen, I want to ask you guys. I mean, I want to focus more on Delhi, but you guys can talk about some of the others on the list as well. But what are your thoughts about Dellavedova? I mean, Mo, you said it already before we started taping the show that he's, I guess, dirty because you didn't want Curry in the game.
Well, no, that's because that's because I'm a Curry fan. I don't want to see him get hurt, but I think J.R. Smith was a dirtier player today. But I want to kind of get to Brad there. Brad, is this fundamental Australian, New Zealand style of basketball,
rugby,
or are the Americans a little too soft? And this is the style of game that they're teaching the kids.
It's a combination. To put it coldly and to put it simply, it is a combination. Like obviously, you know, the Australian players are taught to play a certain way. We're not the most athletic people in the world. And when it comes to basketball and trying to run and gun with these, you know, super uber athletes over from the US, you know, we don't necessarily play dirty, but we definitely play aggressive. We're definitely taught to hustle for loose balls. We're definitely sort of told to get up in your defender's face. If you get tangled, you don't give ground, you hold your ground. You know what I'm saying? Like things in the paint get rough. I mean, growing up here, you know, when you play at the junior and amateur ranks, the refereeing's not always the best. So things can kind of get out of hand quite quickly. And, you know, we do play what they call, I guess, a rugby style of basketball. And I think that just breeds warriors. I don't think it's a bad thing. And then you get, you know, these guys who are These guys are protected from the AAU. It's like all of a sudden, if you show a little bit of potential in America, oh, well, you can't foul or touch that guy because he could earn $50 million in 10 years' time. So let's just protect him. And then he never gets to battle anybody who's got any, chance, doesn't really accept his ego and all this other, hype and whatever else. Is Delhi, in this instance, dirty? Define dirty. How the hell do you?
Yeah, I think we need to define dirty because
Bruce Bowen would step on people's feet. He would elbow people in the nuts. Bruce Bowen was dirty. Is Dellavedova doing these?
I don't think Delhi is dirty at all.
Dirty, but come on,
I think what makes dirty is okay. It's not playing hard. It's trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Going out there and being aggressive. That's the thing. That's why I don't think.
Right. He's thrown elbows to faces, all that. Like in the event that he got tangled up with Taj Gibson, his legs got tangled, whatever. Like that's just him brain farting. But no one was hurt as a result. Diving for a loose ball, using your back to protect yourself and taking out Korver. Hey, look, maybe that couldn't have been avoided. Maybe it could. But Patrick Beverley going for the ball.
That's what I want to bring up.
That was dirty.
And he continues to be an aggressive / dirty player, Patrick Beverley. I mean, if we were going to redo this list, can we come up with, instead of trying to defend Delhi, okay, let's just say we don't think he's dirty, somebody else does. But can we think of a dirty player we have in mind and see if we can debate that as well? Like, do you have a top? Is Patrick Beverley yours, Brad?
No, because again, I don't think we've seen anybody dirty in the NBA since Bruce Bowen left the league. I don't think the NBA has essentially policed the game and changed the rules and fined guys enough, and the dirty play has been taken out of basketball, and I think that's a good thing.
So dirty based on today's standards, we still are trying to define. So are we to say that the dirty based on today's standards are the ones who are maybe missing that level of athleticism that they have to overcompensate somehow?
No,
I mean, is that what it comes down
to? I always read it as this. I always see it as if you're on somebody's team, like LeBron doesn't think Delhi's dirty because he helps him win. But if LeBron was going against Delhi, dirtiest guy in the league. It just seems to me like these guys are all saying that this guy's dirty because he's not on their roster. The second Delhi signs with Detroit's going to go to bat for him and say that he's the best backup point guard in basketball.
I just think that Australians come in here and maybe there's something to them being a little dirty because they're not as athletic as the other super athletes in the NBA.
Right, but if you think about it,
why are they not as athletic? And two, it sounds like that is a compensation thing.
They're not cheap shotting guys is where I draw the line. Like Delhi's not going out of his way, like John Stockton used to, on screens, or like these guys aren't employing deliberate plays that are actually out to sort of, put an elbow into a guy's ribs on a rebound, or step on toes and roll an ankle, or put your foot under someone's foot so they can't land on a 3-point shot. Like all these things that we've seen over the last 10 to 15 years that the NBA's, essentially gotten rid of. Delhi's not doing any of these things, but yes,
I know that.
Growing up,
he's a new version. So what's the new version of dirty though? What is the
Can we say? Can we say the guy with the most flagrant fouls, for example, flagrant foul guy is can we try to put some sort of statistic to it?
If a guy's going for a layup and he gets pushed in the back, that's a freaking dirty play. Yeah. Like, don't harm a guy in mid-flight.
So flagrant foul. So is Blake Griffin dirty then? Isn't he up there in flagrant fouls this year?
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Dellavedova is an easy target because you saw him in the playoffs hurt Kyle Korver, which effectively changed the dynamic of that series. If you're an Atlanta fan, then obviously losing your number one gunner is going to change your ability to score points. But again, like, what's Dellavedova's track record here? I don't, think that he's necessarily out there getting flagrants and getting tossed from games for bad play. I just think he's hustling for balls and doing what he can to contribute to a Cavaliers victory. And if guys don't like it, I'm not saying that you should dive for legs. I think that's a bad way to go about business.
So he's scrapping and diving for balls, is what you're saying, and that's why he gets a reputation.
Right. But I don't think we need to defend Delhi anymore. I don't think any of us were saying that Delhi was a dirty player.
Larry Bird get that reputation then? He was diving and scrapping for balls. I don't get.
But it's a different time. It was a much more physical time. Where just driving through the hoop, you're going to get nailed. But let's talk about right now. Okay, if I give you the top 3 teams here who have the most flagrant fouls, I'm just going to throw flagrant fouls out there as a possible stat that helps us qualify whether team is dirty. Hey, Patrick Beverley and the Houston Rockets, number 1. Number 2, Matt Barnes and your bruising Memphis Grizzlies. And we talked about him. You gave him a couple F-bombs. And then Minnesota Timberwolves at 3 with 4 flagrant fouls. So, again, I don't know. Is that the stat we're going to go by? Is it watching them and seeing them play? Like, I watched P.J. Tucker. Tucker, the Phoenix Suns. Like, I looks dirty as friggin' hell. But he's also super aggressive and super angry. I mean, and maybe it gets a little highlighted and exaggerated because of his demeanor.
If you watch a game, you can tell who the hustle guys are, who the scrapper guys are, and you can tell if a guy is dirty. Like, I mean, Bruce Bowen is the perfect example because you can tell like when guys would go for a jump shot, he'd stick his right foot or left foot underneath him, and just to try and throw him off. And if they landed on that foot and sprained an ankle, he doesn't care because he did his job and he took them out.
Ray Allen will tell you, and he's been unapologetic about it. Ray Allen says that Bruce Bowen is by far the dirtiest guy that he competed against. So, you know, I think in this instance too, like the LA Times that did this poll, the 24 people that were asked and all spoke anonymously, if you think Delhi's a dirty player, or if you think any of these guys are a dirty player, Bogut, Adams, whoever, man, put your name to it. Own your comment. Like, I just think that it's wrong.
I do say that.
I think it's really bad that Bleacher Report and the LA Times come out and publish this and crucify Delhi. He gets 13 of the 24 votes, but they won't say who's calling him out. Now, if this Western Conference, coach, assistant coach, whoever it may be, thinks that Delhi's dirty, man, put your name to it. Let Delhi know. So the next time that, say it is the Rockets, if the Cavs come to town, you best believe LeBron and Tristan Thompson are
well, guys, let's put our name to it. Who's the dirtiest player in the NBA today? Let's not talk Bowen. Let's not talk Delhi. Let's not talk Stockton. Who is it right now?
No, I don't know who's on the list. Whoever's got the most flagrant fouls gets my vote.
No, I disagree with the flagrant fouls.
Because you brought up the Blake Griffin, which is a good point.
Maybe here's all the guys tied for second in flagrant fouls: Mason Plumlee, Dwight Howard, James Harden, C.J. McCollum. Are we calling those guys dirty players? Because I disagree with that. I will put Matt up there.
No, right. And Chris, to your point, not all flagrant fouls are considered equal.
Exactly.
Like if you get a flagrant foul,
you have to have the eye test. So if I had to pick one, I would pick Matt Barnes. Just the way he, not just the flagrant fouls, everything he goes about his game. He is a dirty player based on
today's he's a deliberately irritating.
And what did you? And what was your message for Barnes earlier in quarter number one? If we want to repeat.
Right. No, but I mean, if in today's game, he really is the one that stands out the most for me, Matt Barnes, because I mean everything about him, even his social media accounts, he's promoting violence on his social media accounts. I mean, that you already know what kind of mindset he has when he's not on the court. Yeah, imagine when he's on the court and he's competing. That's heightened even more.
Let's not forget when Robert body checked Steve Nash into the scorer's bench. That was a dirty play. Like that was a deliberate. I'm going to take out the best player, so we have the best chance of winning this series. Like it's those sorts of acts. Guy goes up for a dunk. He gets taken out mid-flight and then ends up sort of landing hard. And the team is bad boy Pistons sort of style of employing these tactics,
which we saw kind of Andrew Bynum do to J.J. Barea a couple years back.
All that sort of stuff. Like to me, that's dirty. It's like the cop-out play makes you dirty. It's not like if you get beaten 1-on-1 or if there's a loose ball and you're both going and it's a 50-50 chance. Like Australians, in this instance for Dellavedova, to make a final case, they're growing up playing Aussie rules football where the 50-50 ball is one of the most important stats in the game. The team that wins the 50-50 ball often wins the contest. So he's grown up in an environment.
No idea what you just said.
That's important.
That's right. Sounded like Powerball. All right. No, I think if I can help kind of give my take here lastly, is that I think the flagrant foul plus the frustration foul. I think that frustration foul, the guy who is upset at the way things are going, you're Matt Barnes, you see him do this, he's upset, he's going to go out, he's going to hurt, he's going to hurt somebody.
The Morris twins up there.
Exactly. Guys like that. I would call that the dirty guy, the frustration, hey, I'm losing, now I'm just going to hurt somebody, instead of really the flagrant foul guy, which could be just, again, it could be a scrappy Delhi play.
Right. It's all intention. It's all about the malice, and it's all about what the guy wants to do to hurt another guy. And that's the thing. I don't think Dellavedova's ever set out or ever stepped onto the court saying to himself, "Tonight I'm going to take down Kyle Korver." This just happened in the heat of battle. I don't think that's dirty.
Yeah, I think it was more of, I guess he was just going for it, and it just was a little bit awkward, and he ended up injuring the best shooter. It's one of those things. And
speak on the record. Hey, look, you know what? Let's do our own anonymous poll. 6,000 people decided Dellavedova's not dirty. There you go.
And I had another topic for this quarter, but I enjoyed the discussion on the dirty dancing, so I decided not to go with it. But thank you very much, gentlemen.
Your topic was so good that we rarely ever do this. We talk about one discussion the entire 12 minutes, but we got to take a break now. When we come back, it is the fourth quarter on the Full Court Report. Back after this.
a Sports5.ph original web show.
My name is Dominic Uy, and this is my buddy Kevin Limhoko.
We are going to be testing products to their nth degree, to their limits.
Cars.
How many car makers are not equipped with power steering?
Gadgets.
You feel the value of that watch.
And everything in between.
I don't like to pamper myself except in a restaurant.
This is the web show for the modern man.
Oh, let's go!
Nth degree. Catch it exclusively on Sports5.ph.
Welcome back to the Full Court Report. It is the fourth quarter. I have 12 minutes to lead us to wherever we're going to go. So let's go ahead and start it. Clock is up and discussion starts now. Now, recently, Charles Barkley, I'm sure many of you guys have, you guys saw this quote. He said that Kawhi Leonard is the best basketball player in the world. And I know in our last episode, we did talk about Kawhi's prospects as possibly being an MVP, maybe even a front runner for the award. So, I mean, it's not like Charles is, coming out of nowhere here. This is the same Barkley, though, that said he'd rather have Klay Thompson than Steph Curry. But nevertheless, Kawhi Leonard will make his first All-Star appearance this season. That is guaranteed unless he gets hurt. Yeah, he's a lock. Might not start, likely won't start, but he's definitely going to be there as a choice from the coaches. So I kind of want to bring this up because last year we saw the Atlanta Hawks running away with the Eastern Conference kind of record at the time, and they had 4 representatives. Now, the Spurs aren't the number one team in the West, but boy, they are so dominant that it still only looks like they're going to have one All-Star in Kawhi Leonard. Is this a travesty of some kind? Should the Spurs have more? We don't know yet because this is going to be obviously the choices on the coach, but it doesn't look like there's a clear-cut second All-Star on this team. How many All-Stars should the Spurs have? That's a question I want to throw out there real quick, and I want to get your guys' take on this.
They should have one. Was it a travesty when they were winning titles or at least competing for titles when Tim Duncan was the only All-Star? Because Tony Parker wasn't consistently every year an All-Star. Neither was Manu Ginobili. Right. They were good key pieces. They were top of the line type of players. But Tim Duncan was the only All-Star coming from that team. Yet they had a solid team. This is a team built on team. Having Kawhi as the only All-Star is fine because no one else stands out to be an All-Star unless you want to put Tim Duncan there as kind of a sentimental favorite. He hasn't said he's going to retire, but maybe you think he is. You put him out there, but based on merit, it's just Kawhi on this team. But it won't matter to a team like that. They're shooting for the title. It's just the All-Star game for them.
Well, we argued this the other week when I'm a little upset that Kobe Bryant is going to make it, and you guys, oh no, sentimentality, he's got to be there, man. Tim Duncan is way more deserving if that's the same argument.
That's fine. If you think that this is going to be his last year, throw him on. If you don't think, then wait till next year.
I think the point here is that we're still living, and we've talked about this before on this podcast, is that we give way too much credit to All-Star selection. Now, come the end of the season, if there are 2 Spurs on the All-NBA, the 3 All-NBA teams, then I think that's an adequate representation of the year that they've had, and maybe Tony Parker or Duncan will make the 3rd team. Kawhi Leonard obviously should be on the 1st team given current performance. But when it comes to All-Star selection, the history books will get it wrong and say that there was only one All-Star from San Antonio, which, isn't a reflection of their success. But that's just the nature of this kind of game. Now, the question isn't whether another Spur will make it. The question is which player gets knocked off the list to make room for a Spur. And I think that's where it gets super interesting.
Right.
Because
that's exactly the case.
The arguments could start to be made that if Tony Parker's current streak continues, maybe one of the Portland guys in McCollum or Lillard won't make it, and there should be room for Parker at the end of the bench. Maybe Tim Duncan, from a career standpoint, should go, and Kobe Bryant should be given the commissioner's pick, which would be like the honorary 13th spot or something. I don't know how you want to sort of frame that, but will another Spur make it? It's probably unlikely. But the coaches also have huge respect for San Antonio. So
yeah, that's right.
I don't see it. I don't. I mean, even the coaches have great respect for the Spurs. I mean, they have great respect for the San Antonio Spurs and not necessarily individual players. I mean, it's the way they work collectively as a unit. That's
right. They're like the Voltron. They're like the Voltron of the NBA.
Yeah.
You don't pick one line, but all 5 together. Man, they're the greatest force in the universe.
Yeah, and
Kawhi's the head.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
and it's because you look at a team. There's Tony Parker might be the second for me, maybe the second guy on the team that should make the All-Star. But you look at the guards on the Western Conference. There's just no chance. There's just no chance for him to make it.
Would you like to see them punish James Harden for his lackluster success and put Parker on the team instead?
Why not?
Wow.
Why not? I mean, James Harden looks like he doesn't care this year. So I mean, he's the MVP in his mind. But you know what's interesting to me though? I mean, because technically speaking, Luke Walton hasn't been awarded any wins. So if you're gonna be picking a coach from the Western Conference and Steve Kerr's not ready, does Pop get the vote? Does Pop get the nod for the All-Star?
Luke Walton will have his first. He'll have an All-Star win under his belt, regular season win under his belt. But that's what's going to happen,
right? I mean, he's not a head coach.
It's going to be Luke Walton because he's doing the same thing he's doing right now. He's just going to get a bunch of All-Stars, have them do their thing. He's not going to really do much.
He'll have to coach harder in the All-Star game than right now. You got
That's
right.
probably true. All right, but yeah, you know what? Here,
really quickly to throw it out there, 2014 when the Spurs won one All-Star, Tony Parker.
Yeah.
But you know, this season is different. It just seems different. Has a different feel to it.
It should be about all NBA selection because it's your whole season.
That's fine. Tony Parker has been the third team twice in his career. That's it.
Right. All right, here we go. Right. You know what? In the end, I think Duncan goes in.
That's what happens when you Voltron.
I think Duncan goes in this year just for sentimental reasons. But you know, we were talking about all NBA.
You don't think LaMarcus or Parker will make it?
I think LaMarcus probably is the better choice, but I think it's going to be the sentimental choice, and it's going to go with Duncan. And we were talking about the first all NBA first team, second team, whatnot. Let's kind of throw out who we think are our first half all NBA first team members are. Sure. We are, of course, at the halfway point. I want to give me your 5. We'll debate it if we disagree. Let's start with you, Gino. Who's on your All NBA first team?
Let me think here. Definitely Curry.
Sure.
Westbrook.
Yep.
Kawhi. I think those three are locks. LeBron would be the other forward, and I'm really confused with the 5. And I'm not.
Well, you don't have to pick a center anymore. Remember,
it's just a front court player.
You can go KD. You can go George.
If it's just a
Drummond.
If it's just a front court player, maybe Drummond actually.
Are you sure that you don't have to pick a center? I know that's the All-Star
voting. The All-Star, yeah, I know the All-Star voting for sure. It's just front court.
Sorry, you're right. Yeah. All NBA first team requires a center. You got to pick a traditional center.
I would go with Drummond then. At least at the midway point of the regular season.
All right, Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, if I refused against NBA's rules and just picked 3 in the front court, 2 in the backcourt, it's easy. It's obviously Durant, LeBron, and Kawhi, and then 2 in the backcourt, Curry and Westbrook. But if I have to go by those rules, Brad said it last week, bye-bye Durant, and I'd put, of course, Boogie Cousins at the center. You know, all joking aside, Kawhi's better this year, and LeBron is LeBron. So, I mean, that's what it would be, and Boogie Cousins at center.
Brad, what do you got?
I'm going to say Westbrook and Curry in the backcourt. I just don't see how you can argue around those 2 guys. Where I do think it gets interesting is obviously the front court, the 2 forward spots. Again, the Thunder might find themselves on the outside looking in. I mean, Durant's efficiency versus LeBron's greatness versus, I guess Leonard's everything right now. All right, you're gonna put the gun to my head. I'm gonna say. I'm going to put, because I don't think Leonard's going to be the MVP, I'm going to put Durant and LeBron on the first team.
Wow.
Who's your center?
And I'm going to go either, let's think now, center performance.
Adams.
Let's go Boogie.
Boogie Cousins, all right.
He's got the numbers.
I'm going to go, obviously, everybody's got the same backcourt, Curry and Westbrook. I'll take Kawhi Leonard as the first forward, which kind of seems to be the big one.
Superstar.
I want Draymond Green, man, and I know it's going to make your blood boil. Yeah, because Chris Bosh is better.
You got to bring up Draymond Green.
I got to, dude. Listen, I'm going with the triple-double guys and Westbrook and Green. I think that's an awesome.
You're going to put Draymond in. You're going to put Draymond in as your small ball center and cheat the system.
Oh my God.
No. I go Kawhi and Draymond, and then my center.
You're putting LeBron. You're putting LeBron James.
Listen, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, when you girls are done with your little period, and let me know. Let me know when you want me to defend it. Let me know when you want me to defend it.
So you're taking out KD and LeBron James and putting Draymond in there.
What's going on here?
Wow.
Are you guys done? Am I gonna? All right, here we go. Hey, listen, Draymond Green is a stellar defender, and if I'm putting Kawhi Leonard because of his offensive and defensive skills, I'm putting Draymond because Draymond gets a lot of fanfare for the triple doubles, but this is a guy that is right up there in Defensive Player of the Year voting. I think he had more first place votes than Kawhi did last year alone on defensive player. So hey, as a defensive and offensive juggernaut, there is none better than Draymond Green, man. I'm telling you, even though the Kawhi is obviously MVP candidate. If you look at the numbers, the triple doubles and the elite defense, he's got to be on the first all NBA first team, especially this season. Well, I mean, only this season, but
so it's got to happen. Who's your center?
I'm sorry. I'm torn between Drummond and Boogie. I'll go Drummond just because, well, if Detroit can hold on to the playoff spot, I go Drummond because of the the outrageous stats. But come on, man. Back to my Draymond. Number one, first place votes in Defensive Player of the Year award, plus the triple double buffet that he's throwing out there in Golden State. He's got to be on that first team, man.
So Mo. So essentially, let me get this correct. You're saying that after 41 games, that the best two forwards in basketball have been Draymond and Kawhi Leonard.
It's a both offensive and defensive game, and those are your two best offensive and defensive players.
I'm not saying it. I just want to get the clarification. So you're saying that Durant and LeBron are on the All-NBA second team. Should we announce such a thing halfway through this year? But right now, you're saying because of the teams, because they got the two leading records in the NBA. If Durant and LeBron were that good, why aren't their teams with the number one records? Is this
sure? They're the best two-way players in the league, absolutely by far.
Okay,
not even close.
I don't buy it, but I respect it.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
What? Well,
I can't.
You know what your problem is, Gino, and also you, Chris, is you guys are all about name recognition. It's like look at your argument for LeBron earlier. LeBron is LeBron. What the hell does that mean? Like LeBron is LeBron. That's what you're going to go with? First team All NBA. Nothing. You put nothing. No justification. You just said LeBron's name is LeBron.
You switch LeBron James and Draymond Green, and you put Draymond Green on the Cavs. You think they would have a chance? You think they would have a chance at winning a championship with Draymond Green?
That's not how you vote for first team All NBA.
No, but that just shows how
that's not how you vote for it.
James
that is a fallacy. You cannot. It doesn't matter. That's not how you vote for it. You vote for the MVP that way. No. You vote not first All and not first team All NBA. That's how you vote for MVP. Oh, yeah. Right. What's the time check on this? All right, let's move on. All right. I like, it feels good to be right. Oh, we got 10 seconds. Damn, all right. In the end, I know a lot of you guys, a lot of you fanboys, LeBron, are going to have a little problem with my statement. But you know what? Remove all the bias, remove all the sexiness that a name brings.
Let's put Kobe on the team.
Oh, Gino won't say anything about that. All right,
let's take a break. Look, Mo. We might only be 41 games in, but where's Kristaps, man? Come on, give some love to
put him on the team too. If we're gonna be crazy, let's just
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year, Kristaps Porzingis. All right, let's take a break. We got to get out of here. Boy, you guys drive me nuts. Basketball is offense and defense, by the way.
Oh, my God.
You understand this? Yes?
Overtime.
Back after this. Overtime. Oh, offensive stats are so sexy. Back after this. Don't go away.
He has made viewers laugh with his funny antics and awesome style in comedy. He has also been in quite a few headlines himself. Well, funny man Arnel Ignacio loves good times too. Curious if he has funny secrets he'd like to spill? Then head on to www.tv5.com.ph/originals and watch Good Times with Mo. Thursday, 9 p.m. on Digital 5. Call us on our hotline, also on Viber and Skype.
Back on the show. Cooler heads have prevailed. You are listening to the Full Court Report. It's time for our overtime segment.
You know what? Against our beat, will do that to anyone, man. You play Mass Appeal, and I guarantee you the crowd's just going to settle in and just bop their head and just be like, all right.
That's right. Relax. Everybody needs to relax. All right. Yeah, good choice. I saw a stat on SportsCenter a couple days back, about 2 days ago, that Jimmy Butler has run an NBA high 107 miles this season. I didn't even know they logged these things. I know, Brad, you were telling me off here. I'm like, no, but that's a legit stat, man. People know about this.
There was a bit of a kerfuffle about, tracking NBA players' sleeping habits because teams are sort of so particular about measuring every facet of these guys' lives to maximize performance. So, Sport for You, they really do have cameras set up in every arena, and they do have the data on every player's motion.
I didn't even know
speed, and it's insane. The data now that's coming out of NBA arenas is insane.
So, with Jimmy Butler, then I guess at the halfway point, he has run 107 miles this season. You must kind of automatically think, what an athlete this guy is. And I thought,
you've been listening to a little too much NWA. He's 100 miles and running right now.
Sure. Let's talk about it. Which NBA player currently do you think is the best athlete? They don't necessarily obviously have to be the best basketball player, but I don't know how we're going to, again, define this. Is it the best physique? Is it the jumping ability? Is it the strength?
Everything.
Obviously, basketball is an offensive and defensive game, so they have to be athletic on both sides.
That's right. Yeah, I'm glad you recognize. So yeah, so who do you think is the NBA's best athlete? Let's talk about it. What do you guys got?
All right. Well, I was talking to a trainer about this recently, and his somebody else that he works with in his industry as a trainer in the NBA and trains NFL players and NBA players is also a trainer of LeBron James, and I think that's
sure.
We start there. We start with one of the best players in the NBA.
He's lost his athleticism.
He's lost a little bit of it, but did you see him play last week when he was dunking over everybody?
I don't know. I was remembering him getting blocked by Pau Gasol in game number one. So I forgot. Yeah,
but I still think. I mean, yes, he's maybe lost half a step, maybe half. I mean, he's still lost a little bit of his explosiveness and finishing at the rim, but I still think he's there. I think he's still among the top. But I'm gonna throw you a name that this trainer mentioned because he trains him as well. And I think you guys are going to be really shocked with this. But before he became a basketball player, he was actually an all-state track star in Texas. And I'm talking about Jordan Clarkson of the LA Lakers. I know it may seem a little strange.
Homer pick.
No. This is not a homer pick.
This is the same guy who was yelling at me about my Draymond.
Wait. I'm just saying what the trainer has said. This is a trainer who will.
Yeah, but there's no way Jordan Clarkson's a better athlete than Westbrook.
First of all, the trainer is not on our show. Okay.
But I'm just reiterating what he said to me, and he said that LeBron James would be number one, and then he said another monster, and it's a surprise because of what he's done with his training is Clarkson, and I was shocked when he said that. I was thinking, what you can't be telling.
That's the trainer trying to market his business.
That sounds like a quack.
Yeah, he's trying to market his own business.
I want to see a head-to-head race and a number of pentathlete obstacles put in front of Westbrook and Clarkson, and I bet you Westbrook wins 10 out of 10 times.
But Jordan was a track star before he became a basketball player, and that was in high school.
He's not wired the way Westbrook
is.
That's
because Westbrook didn't like track, but if they went ahead...
Exactly.
All right, so guys, who else? Best athlete in the NBA currently?
I'll say this. I understand what Gino's saying about LeBron. He, at one point, was maybe the greatest athlete ever to play in the NBA. Maybe. I mean, he's arguable among the top. So if he's taking one step slower, he's still one of the best athletes in the NBA today, if not the best. Yeah. But another name I'll throw out there, because I think he's a freak of nature, I said it before, is Russell Westbrook. Unbelievable athlete. And LeBron with his body, I'll put another great body out there, is Dwight Howard, as much as I don't like the guy. Unbelievably athletic body. So I would say today the best athlete is Westbrook, along with LeBron, 1 and 1A. And then body-wise, it would be LeBron and Dwight Howard. So that's where I'm probably leaning to. Yeah.
Those Dwight Howard shoulders, man. They're
oh my God, unbelievable shoulders! Like a different part of it, a different body.
Is Dwight bigger and more physically imposing than David Robinson?
No.
Robinson's
cut.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. Robinson's got 3 or 4 inches. I mean, both ways on Dwight Howard. So
sure.
Yeah. That's right.
Look, I'm going to throw out a name out there that might not be the most obvious pick, but his speed, athleticism, and everything about him to me just screams uber athlete. And I think he'd excel in any sport, and that's John Wall.
Oh, sure.
Speed, yes. I mean, maybe at the end of the year he beats Butler in this whole running. How many miles? Just because. That's a good choice, but the body, run,
I mean... he's everything, man. I mean, everything you want from... I'm just saying pure athlete. I'm not talking basketball here. I'm not talking his playmaking, his ability to look it out. I'm just saying pure athlete. Nobody's as quick or can jump the same way that John Wall can. No, Westbrook obviously is a freak of nature, but man, I'm just saying John Wall deserves to be in the conversation.
Right. Plus, he has his own dance, so that says a lot about his athleticism.
I was going to go muscle Westbrook as well, but let me try to give another name out there that maybe doesn't kind of get on the top of everyone's list, but should be considered. DeAndre Jordan, size, speed, physique.
Right. His mobility for that size is insane.
Oh my God!
Insane. Yeah.
So I put DeAndre up there. I brought up this guy's name.
DeAndre ahead of Blake. Like, is Blake a
that's
super
another
athlete?
thing. How quickly we forget Blake Griffin? Let's not forget him that quickly.
Yeah, with Blake, is it just jumping though? Is he showcasing this?
Is he just the Mr. Universe? Like, is he just a cut guy, like a Mr. Olympia?
Look at how you said jump through the.
Yeah.
So who else? Oh, you said someone else?
You know, again, body-wise, and I've said his name a couple times, and maybe I'm a fan, or maybe I'm talking out of my ass here, but I like that Young, man. I like that body on Thaddeus Young of Brooklyn. I think that's a really good body.
Wade's body is off the charts too. Let's not forget that.
Sure.
We want to, butter these guys up and watch them get a suntan. I mean,
Another one. I want to throw in one
On
more
a banana
too.
boat.
Ever
Yeah.
plays Gerald Green is a hell of an athlete. He is a hell of an
there
athlete.
you go.
that guy.
There you go. Yeah.
And
Top-
Zach LaVine.
top
I mean,
five-
these guys
top
can just
five
fly through the air.
And he
insane.
doesn't seem to slow down. His jumping ability has been around for a really long time. He doesn't get the fanfare, maybe 5-6 years ago, but he was doing what he was doing 6-7 years ago. I used to see him at All-Star Weekend.
Right, actually, that's a good example. The problem with Gerald Green, I know we've run out of time here, but Gerald Green has made a career of being known as the super uber athlete, but has never had that translate into basketball skills until he developed that free point shot recently.
That's exactly
as far as athletes go, you probably poll everybody in the NBA, and probably, if it's the LA Times doing the poll, they'll just do it, anonymously, and Gerald Green will win.
Right, that's
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get 4 fingers too. So imagine he's ready to go, man. Let's go around the room and wrap it up tonight. Again, we want to thank everybody who listened to our show, and if you want to follow us on our social media accounts, this is the time we usually kind of give it away. Let's start with you, Chris, in New York. Where can people catch you?
As always, at Not Bill Walton, and for the first time, I'm not the craziest one here. It's DJ Mo Twister, so follow him too if you want to see crazy crap. Not me anymore.
That's right. Brad in Australia, what's up?
You can follow me on Twitter at BackpackBaller, and if you want to, obviously give Mo a bit of crap about his Draymond pick, then Mo will give you his details now.
I'm amazed at how you guys. Okay, I understand.
How dare
Brad,
you?
you respect it, but
I do.
Amazed how
respect it.
I'm good with that. I don't get how they're so the reaction's so visceral for Chris and for Gino here. At DJ Mo Twister, that's where you send your hate tweets. By the way, you bandwagoners. And Gino, where are you at on social media?
At not Draymond Green. At Gino Rufino, JINNORUFINO, and that's on Twitter and on Instagram. And hey, there's not disrespecting Draymond. I love his game.
He's a good game.
I just don't know if he's better than LeBron James or KD.
We'll do a whole show on that next week.
How do you lead the best team in the NBA in assists, steals, blocks? How do you get as many? How do you get as many triple doubles?
This is why Kevin Durant.
Teammates, what do teammates do? He's blocking shots. He's dishing the ball. He's rebounding. He's scoring.
Canceling the record button about 3 minutes ago.
Can I remind everyone he had more first place votes as a defensive player than Kawhi? He is a stallion on the defensive end, and he's a stud on the offensive end. First team All NBA. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you next time on Wednesday night, New York time, and then Thursday, Australia and Asia. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.